Welcome to this video for the ATSSB 2025 keyboard etude. This is the advanced level. I have a learn the music video that steps you through every single beat, every single measure, all the way through the piece to help teach you the music. Hopefully you've gotten through all of that. If you have, congratulations. This is a very long piece with a lot of notes in it. If you're at this level, what I'm understanding you to be at this level is that you have learned a piece, or have learned at least a majority of the piece, and you're looking for tips and ways to practice to get better for the all-region tryouts. Okay, let's talk about the keyboard itself. I am playing on a student line marimba, which I have at home. I bought for my kids a long time ago. I don't have a full rosewood marimba. This is Paduk, but it sounds pretty good and it gets the job done as far as me being able to play the etude and having a good representative sound for the marimba. If you have a full marimba with a rosewood bars, it makes a really nice sound. You want to make sure that you choose your instrument carefully and that you make sure if you're taking that instrument to the audition that it is free from rattles, making sure that the string that holds all of the bars is in really good shape so that you're not having any last minute emergencies right before you audition. If you're not taking your own instrument to the audition, just make sure that your band director checks with the school that is hosting the audition so that we can make sure that they have a good quality instrument. If you have the time or you really want to get into the effort of it, you can make a trip over to the school just to check out the instrument, maybe get a chance to play on it a little bit. In general, most of the bars on most marimbas, and I assume you want to play this on a marimba and not a xylophone. Okay, this is from the modern method for xylophone, marimba, and vibraphone, but you probably want to play this on a marimba. Most of the bars on most marimbas are very similar in size, so you're not going to have anything that's quite different unless you get to some old instruments that have very thin bars. All right, so having said that, you do want to make sure that you're practicing on a representative instrument. You can practice on xylophone, but when you get to a marimba, you're probably not going to be able to transfer those skills appropriately. So practice on a marimba goes without saying, especially if you want to make all region. The mallets that you select, I would encourage you to select the mallets that you're going to use pretty early, because as you're working this up, there's a certain feel that you're going to get and a certain length to the mallet shaft and the mallet head itself that you're learning every time that you do the motions when you're reaching for the naturals to the accidentals. There's a motion that you're learning with your muscles that you need to replicate. You need to be able to do it exactly the same way every single time that you play. And then by the time you get to the audition, you have mastered that muscle memory or that kinesthesia, which is the feel that you get from your body to the instrument you're playing on. So select your mallets. The mallets that I would encourage you to have, I played with some vibraphone mallets for the tutorial video, and it's mainly because I have a nice bright red head and I was just trying to make sure that you could see what notes I was striking. Those first of all, rattan shafts. You can play with a rattan shaft. It's kind of nice when you're playing really fast notes to get that little bit of flex that you get with a rattan. But I am playing with the Van Cise M112 mallets. These make a really great sound. Any type of marimba mallet that has a rubber ball on the inside that's wrapped with yarn is going to make a pretty good representative sound on the keyboard. You want something that sounds great all the way through the registers. Okay, these mallets disappear a little bit when I get to the very top range. Not too much. A rosewood or especially a Custalon synthetic kind of marimba, if you play on that type of marimba, is going to have a brighter sound. You can get away with a little bit softer mallets. If I moved up to a mallet that's a lot harder, this is a 113, so it's just one up. Gets a much brighter sound, it activates enough of the bar, but as I get lower, to me, that gets pretty harsh in the lower register. So I want that balance between something that's really mellow. Here's a 111, which makes a really great sound at the bottom end, but really disappears at the top end. I find myself having to strike it really hard, and I get a lot of frame rattle. All right, so pick your mallets carefully right at the beginning. Maybe have your instructor help you decide which mallets you want to use. Don't just pick up any mallets and start playing with them. That's great for learning the piece, but as you start getting better and better and you start really memorizing the muscle memory that it takes for all of these scale patterns, you want to have the mallets that you're actually going to perform with on the audition. And maybe you care about making all region, maybe you care about making state, maybe you just want to do well. All of these things are part of the process. And spending a little bit of time thinking about the process itself is something that you really should do if you want to be successful. All right, so we worked through in the previous video, we worked from phrase to phrase, and I really encourage you to get a metronome and establish a practice routine that's pretty consistent. All right, it's not great to practice for 3 hours on one day and then do not practice the rest of the week. It's similar to exercise or anything else that you do that you want to be good at. You want consistent practice every single day, even if it's 20 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes. You want something that's very consistent. So every day you're doing something and your mind is engaged and your muscles are remembering those motions. What I encourage you to do also is to make a practice chart so that you're not just starting at the beginning every single practice session and really spending all of your time on the first 2 lines or 3 lines or 4 lines, but that you make a practice chart of saying, this is what I'm good at, this is what needs work, this is what I need to learn today, and you actually go through and decide how many minutes you're going to spend on each section. All right? This is anytime that you do the detail and you put a stopwatch, you're going to be more focused on what needs to get improved versus just starting at the beginning every single time. I see this every time I've ever judged audition or a even solo and ensemble contest. You have students that come in and they are nails at the very beginning of the piece, and then you just see this slow decline and deterioration of their quality as you get further to the end, and eventually they'll blow up or it'll just get worse and worse and worse. So you definitely want to plan out your practice sessions so that you're really good from top to bottom. I would rather hear somebody at a slower tempo who is consistently good all the way through than somebody that was brilliant really fast at the beginning and just cratered in the middle. That tells me something about that player when I hear that. So, encourage you to make that daily commitment to 15 or 20 minutes, getting on the keyboard that you're going to be playing on after you learn it. There's no benefit after you've learned the piece to practicing on a bell set or playing it on piano, okay, other than just having it in your head. Now you can also utilize what a lot of very professional players is thinking about, the think system of practicing. It's visualizing a keyboard and visualizing your hands and your mallets playing each of the patterns, okay? That's a great way of reinforcement. If you can't get on a marimba, let's say it's the weekend and you can't go to school and you don't have a marimba at home, doing some work with visualization can also help you in the long run of being really consistent with it, because a lot of this becomes a mental exercise as much as it does a physical exercise. All right. So, having said all of that, there's other videos that you can watch on practice suggestions, and I encourage you to watch videos outside of just this piece on how to raise your performance level. But what you want to do is be consistent as possible. What you want to do is practice on the instrument with the mallets, and very early on decide all of your phrasing and everything, and making sure that you're practicing the correct way every single time you come up to the instrument. That means not playing it too fast where you're missing notes, trying to play phrases many times in a row perfectly before you move the tempo up. All right, so what we're going to do in this video, after you've seen me play it, hopefully, at the fastest tempo that I can play it at, I'm going to break it down and play the etude multiple times at different tempos. So you can see the relaxation that happens with my hands. You can see, hopefully, the nice relaxed stroke that I'm making, and hopefully hear the piece in your head, so you get that sound in your head, so that way whenever you're practicing, you know if you're missing a note or not. All right, so if that is all that you watch on this and you just play along with me, that's fantastic. I really wish you the best of luck as you prepare for your audition.